Yeah, I should not be allowed in zoos, but we could talk about that on Comic Book Canon. No, it's not true. Don't believe anything that Joe says. I did not get arrested at a zoo for being inappropriate. It is a dream of mine to do that, but it has not happened yet because nobody's facilitated it for me. I'm not allowed within 20 yards of the entrance of a zoo at this point. Whatever. We got a packed show tonight, like literally packed show. We have a great guest, Swaggle House, talking about his new comic book. We got props or flops. We got the new segment On the Hunt. We got our first entry. We got a couple entries, but we're going to show one that person did a great job. I'm not going to spoil who that is. I'm forgetting other things that are going on tonight because I don't know, but I'll have to bring my good friend, partners in crime, co-hosts of the show, Joe and Chris. What am I forgetting about tonight? It is a packed house, a packed show.
Just reading some awesome comic material here.
Oh, can you recommend? What is that?
Oh yeah, man, this new pickup, Sanity, Rise of the Occult by I don't know this guy, man. Never heard his name before. Mikey Finnegan there, yeah.
Finnegan. I think it's Finnegan.
Yeah, Finnegan.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Yeah. I might have to Google him.
Yeah, we'll have to look that guy out. But tonight we have Swaggle House, so everybody's going to forget about this part of the show and focus on him. But we are very excited to have him on the show this evening. I just want to actually mention, we'll say hello to everybody soon. But I do want to say this. How was what? You guys just lost to the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, come on.
I did put this on purpose because as of right now, we are the only team not to lose in the NFC East this weekend. Granted, our game is tomorrow against the Bucs, but I mean, come on, jeez. But here we go again. A lot of people, I don't know. Let us know in the comments if you like. When we digress, we talk about music and sports and all those things. I like it. It's a community thing. We're not all just about comic books, and that's why we like to get to know each and every one of you, all of our guests, and asking things outside of comic books. But let's just move on to things that are about comic books. This is actually kind of outside about comic books. We're going to get into the news right now, Joe.
Oh, yeah.
But it affects the other media properties that are created from comic books.
Yes. So what is being called a final offer has been made from the union, the Writers Guild, correct? We're talking Writers Guild here.
Yes, yes. There a bunch of unions are striking right now that are not allowing production to commence.
Yes. So what is being called a final offer has been made. It's their best offer. Hey, let's get this done. Let's get back to work. And today is the day. They're some sort of a meeting today, and this offer's in play. I have not heard an outcome yet. Has there been any update to this story that we saw earlier, Jeff?
I'm imagining this is on the West Coast. So what time is it there? 5 p.m. They said that they would be negotiating. And anytime somebody says that this is the last and final offer, it's really not because it's not their decision to make that.
True.
These people are, the strike can't go on forever. You have both sides that are losing money. You feel bad for the crew members who are not in a lot of them are not in unions that are part of the strike that won't be getting any kind of residuals or anything like that. Those are the people that, need this paycheck. But it is promising because everything we've heard was nothing, but they met yesterday. They're meeting today. We have not seen any news, but hopefully we could hear about something during the show. If somebody hears about something, that would be great because we really need to end this strike for so many reasons. All of you, that are outside of the industry probably care more about the content that's created. We care about that, a great deal because we love talking about it. We love, diving into it, dissecting it. But again, people are, everybody from production assistants, makeup artists, lighting crew, assistant cam ops or assistant cameraman, etc. They're not making money. And we really need to make, again, root for this thing to go through. So this is promising.
Yeah, and I think this has gone a lot longer than any of us expected it to go as well. Like we've been reporting on this for a few months at this point, and it's been to the point where a lot of weeks it's been like, hey, there's really not a lot of news because there's nothing coming out
been dry,
of these areas. Yeah. So hopefully we'll get some good news maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow, maybe this week. and hopefully things will start to roll. Obviously, it's not like boom, instant back on track. It's going to take a while to get into things. I'm sure they're going to still continue to adjust some dates. I'm sure there's projects that are on the table now that are going to get nixed, but I'm also sure that there's going to be, new announcements about new things that we didn't know about coming up as soon as, not as soon as, but, within the months after the strike is lifted.
I would look at it as kind of like what happened in COVID, although, the pandemic, there was as of right now, there was a much longer gap in terms of production.
Yeah.
And then we had this daily, Chris and I were talking about the daily, because we had nothing for a while, but then the deluge came. And I think that's why they pulled back all of their budgets now. And I think we're going to see some sort of, it's almost like stocks where it's, peaks and valleys, and we're going to see it pull back and normalize in some way, hopefully after this strike. So
yeah, stonks.
What's that?
Yes, stonks.
Stonks.
Hashtag stonks.
Right. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Anyways, you have another great piece of news.
Yeah. Now this one got me really excited. This is very cool. After saying multiple times in interviews and stuff like that he would never touch Spider-Man because he couldn't figure out how to do it originally, in his own way. Jonathan Hickman is going to be writing Spider-Man, which is very, very cool. I personally have only really read his X-Men stuff, which I definitely like. I have some friends who are huge fans of Hickman and, read his Fantastic Four stuff. And, he has a bunch of indie things as well. But this is very exciting because this is the flagship character, the Marvel, character that has the most popularity, both inside of comics and outside of comics. And I'm really excited to see this. I'm definitely going to put this on my pull list. And we're gonna see. And he what he said, like I mentioned, is that he didn't know how to do it in an original way, and he's figured it out. So I have high hopes of this being something new and exciting, and just a little bit different with Hickman's own twist on it.
All right, Chris, I'm going to jump in here real quick, and it's going to be real quick because every time I read a Hickman book, I'm like, what? I don't
really,
I don't understand. Like that Avengers run he had years ago, I was like, I don't think I'm smart enough to understand Hickman's writing, or I don't know. It's not that I didn't enjoy it. There are things I was like, okay, it's cool. I just don't understand where it's going, why it's going, how it's going, and the words that are used. So basically, that's all I got to say about that. Please, Chris, let me know about your thoughts on Hickman because Joe is excited. I'm like, okay.
That's hilarious. Okay. So I'm going to look at this in two ways here. Okay. First, I'm going to piggyback what Jeff's saying. Hickman, like, I feel the same way as Jeff. Look, we're
it's not only me. Okay.
No, it's not. Right. And look, like, I'm a writer, of many sorts. And, I am confident of my ability to, comprehension in my knowledge of vocabulary. But here's the really interesting thing about Hickman. Everything that I've read of him, he's like really good. It kind of like world building. And presenting this thematic. It's like it's always very, I don't want to say just intense, but it's captivating. There's this thematic sense of, okay, I am diving into this and this is going to be amazing. But then you keep going and I, like Jeff, I'm like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah. Okay.
Like, really? But it's kind of like maybe like a David Lynch syndrome thing where, he's, really just trying to pull you in this way to really make it go crazy, to make you think about what does this really mean? I don't know, but but yeah,
I'm glad that Swag said the same thing. I'm like, you guys are supporting. Exactly. I thought I was the only one. I really thought I was the only one.
And here's the thing. I love David Lynch, so it makes sense that I would love Hickman, right?
Okay, but there's, oh my god. So let me kind of backtrack though. I don't want to be too critical of this and saying he's going to come into Spidey and it's not going to make any sense. Jeff, as another Spidey diehard, like, can we not welcome this? Because have we not been fed such loads of BS from writers for at least like the past 15 years with Spider-Man stuff, to where it's like, they try to do something fresh by making him, a billionaire tech guy. But then let's go back to doing the same old stuff. I don't know how many times they've done that. Brand New Day, and then they did it after the tech. Now he's poor and living out of a freaking apartment again, and it's like nobody can figure it out. And then you get Nick Spencer coming in, and you think he's going to solve all the problems, and that doesn't go anywhere. So can we at least say, well, you know what? We haven't gotten anyone over the last freaking decade and a half. Let's think positively and think that maybe Hickman might actually, in all of his whatever, might make something work.
Look, I'm not against it. I'm going to pick it up. I'm a Spider-Man fan, just like you. I'm not as big as a Nightcrawler fan as Joe is, but now they mashed up Nightcrawler and Spider-Man this past week. We'll talk about that later. But I'm open to it. Another thing we may have forgot to say, this is, people are saying this is the new Ultimate Universe, that it's coming out of Ultimate the series that's out this past week, or this week coming up, issue number 4 of, I can't remember the name, but they may be starting a new Ultimate Universe, and I think that's what this Hickman book will be.
Yes, yeah,
So
that's what I read. It was
I'm excited. I'm excited for it. I'm going to pick it up. I just know that there's going to be pages upon pages of pages that I read consecutively and be like, oh shit, I just read 8 pages. I don't understand a damn thing. Let me go back, read it again. I don't understand a damn thing. I look around. I'm the only one in the room, but I'm still like, am I just not smart enough, people? I don't know. I don't know. But that's how I feel when I read Hickman. So Jeff, there, that ends the news for this.
Real quick, we're gonna start. We'll start a buddy group, okay? And anyone else that wants to join, it'll be a support group for,
yes,
Hickman readers.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. Oops, my bad. I was gonna say, what's the team name? I don't know.
What's our team name? That's what Coach Dale's asking.
Comic Book Cannon, I guess.
Comic Book Cannon with a special guest. Surprise! Woo!
Creative. By the way, thank you, Dr. Plagueis. Ultimate Invasion is the series that's ending on issue 4 that comes out this week. That may open up the universe, the new Ultimate Universe. Who knows?
I got a handle, guys. I got a handle. Swaggy Book Cannon.
Swaggy Book Cannon. That's a true mashup right there.
I dab to that.
Swaggy Book Cannon.
Oh, geez. Dab is so 2015, my man.
Yeah, I'm old.
But before we get into it and bring Swags on, we got some business to do. First off, if you're new to the channel, like and subscribe. We really like to have y'all on here and as many voices as possible. It just makes it feel like a party atmosphere. Also, just want to say hello to some people. Let's just start with Coach Dale again. He likes Swaggy Book Cannon or whatever it was. We got Phil Ailing, we got Dr. Plagueis, we got Mark Lineker. Elbow cough. I hope that elbow. I don't know what I was going to say. My brain it's starting early. I am fried. We got Josh's Comics. Oh, Hickman, more like Hackman. Wow, that's brutal. Matt Stadge in the house. Obviously, Swaggle House. We got P. Keel. Yes, in the house. Goonish Lurker. His Broncos got destroyed. He is in the house as well. We got Don Gustavo's Sleepy Slots. We know who you are. We We got D&T Comics and Collectibles. Did you know that Joe can rap? I did, but Chris is better.
That is definitely true.
Yeah, definitely. We got Jordan Nori, Oni Ounce. Swag. How
can rap?
How does he say? Yeah, he definitely can rap. How does he say that?
How does Oni Ounce say that?
Yeah. Swag. I was expecting something completely different. By the way, Dr. Frankenstein giving me shit about the zoo thing, but like, listen, we'll get into it later. Wow, we got a lot of people in the house having a good time. Do we say hello to everybody? GT Key Comic. Give him the thumbs up and the wave. Can you guys do that? I got it. All right, moving on here, guys. By the way, your wife did not know that you can rap.
I can't. I don't.
Tony Connor's just here to party, as we all are. I mean, come on. Thank you for joining. All right, here we go. Our guest, our next guest. Y'all know him. He's been a guest. He's a comic book canon alumnus. He does not have to go through the interview. He has already passed. He is due a comic book canon varsity jacket that will probably never, ever, ever be produced. But not only that, this man is a gem in the community. You watch his channel for his analysis. You watch his channel for his field trips, going out, giving himself challenges and buying comics. And now you're going to watch him and read his book that has just come out that y'all should get, swaggleHouseComics.com. It's Sanity, Rise of the Occult. The link is down below. We are going to talk more about that, but everybody, please give a comic book canon welcome to Swaggle House, a.k.a. Mickey. What's up?
What's up?
How
Thank
are you doing?
I'm good. It's good to be back on the show. Thanks again for having me. This is exciting. It's been too long.
It has been very long, really long, and we're definitely glad to have you on. In my opinion, it's been too long. I don't know what these two guys to my screen left have to say, but I'll let them
too long.
You edited.
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to bump into Mickey at Terrificon this year, and first time meeting in person. And I haven't met Chris in person yet, so met Mickey before Chris.
So
and
weird.
It was weird. We've known each other for years. It's definitely weird. And then when you see somebody in person that you've been interacting with like this for years, it's like you feel buddies, but then you're like, oh, wait a minute, we have not been in the same physical space ever. Yeah. So it is great. It is great. So very happy to have you on today to talk about not only what we talk about on the show, not only hearing your insight, your opinions, your analysis, but your new comic book. And we want to hear, actually a lot about that. Joe, why don't you kick it off actually with the interview?
Yeah, I mean, this book is right up my alley. I love horror stuff. I love creepy stuff. And even just the name, Sanity, it's mentioning the occult in the sub name and everything like that. And the artwork. Yeah, look at that. Beautiful. This definitely grabbed my attention right away. And I think it's so cool that you did this. And that's really what I watch your YouTube channel and you do a lot for the community, but this book specifically is why I wanted to bring you on here, because not a lot of people out there can say that they've put out their own comic book. I kind of want to talk about a bunch of different things. We'll get to the process in a little bit, but can you give the viewers just a quick synopsis of what this story is about?
Yeah, definitely. So Sanity, it's kind of like a Lovecraftian pulp adventure. It's sort of an homage to detective comics, from the golden age. I think one of the reasons why I wanted to kind of do something in this genre is just, we all do here on the channel have such a fondness for vintage comic books and things like that. And that's where a lot of, comic book history started, was those 1930s detective style of noir books and things like that. So it was kind of my goal to sort of bring that back into a new comic book format and put one out there. And it's a noir book. It's picks up kind of with those classic detective tropes of a famous Hollywood socialite hires this detective to investigate the mysterious disappearance of her famous brother. And so he takes up the case and then kind of gets thrust into this sort of world of the occult, and strange things happen thereafter. So it was just a kind of a fun story to do and touch on elements and genres and themes that I'm personally a big fan of, and I think a lot of comic book collectors are fans of.
By the way, I just want to do a quick plug that Matt is asking, how do we get a copy? Link is down below, swagglehouse.com. You'll see it in the banner that's going to come in right now. It's that easy. I believe there's two variants in the cover A, right?
So there were actually 4 variants. One was for a Kickstarter. Oh, there you go. Yeah. One was on a Kickstarter specifically. The two at the bottom right there were on Kickstarter, but they kind of sold out pretty quickly. And then these other two I actually recently just sold out. But I still have the cover A's, you know, so
That's awesome.
they're there.
Yeah, and to me, it feels, you know, at least that first issue, similar to like when I was a kid, my dad was really into showing me like the old Twilight Zone episodes, and it's got that like unsettling feeling to it, like something, you know, it's set in, you know, a real world scenario, but there's something weird going on, which you know, I love that kind of stuff. You know, Immortal Hulk a couple years ago had the same kind of vibe, and you know, I loved that run, so I'm excited to see where this is going to go.
Thank you. Yeah. Just to the Lovecraftian space, if you guys are familiar with that genre, it's funny. Some people really know what it is, and some people are like, I've never heard the word, but it's just sort of if I were to say like Tolkien fantasy, you would think like, oh, okay, Lord of the Rings or whatever. It's like Lovecraft is like sort of a cosmic horror and octopus monsters and things like that. And, but you know, there's always that like sort of existential dread and that feeling of uneasiness that, you know, it was always kind of fun in those stories. So I'm glad you felt that, at least.
For sure. And one thing I really enjoyed, because I'm gonna be honest, I've read some like creator written comics and, you know, creator owned comics and you know, self-published stuff, and most of the time the writing is great, and sometimes the artwork is like, I'm very unimpressed by it. This was great. I loved, especially the contrast. You know, most of the pages had this very dark, gloomy feeling, but something on it was highlighted. There's the one scene where the woman's silhouette is all surrounded by white. There's the scenes with when they're at the crime scene with the flashlight, and the flashlight is kind of highlighting something. And I thought that was just so good. Such a use of brightness, of color, and contrast there. And it definitely fit the vibe very well of the writing. And you know, those two things, you really can't have a good comic book without both good writing and good artwork. So yeah, kudos on that. That
complement each other well too, by the way. Because again, I don't want to shit on anybody else here, but like what you put out, like it's very rare to find a really good artist that you work with, and you worked well obviously with this artist, and just the panels, the layouts, the colors, just what Joe said. We're going to get a couple looks here in a bit, but it's excellent. So kudos to you and your creative team.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. I mean, the artist I worked with his name is Santiago Espina, and he really, I just like to, you know, ride his coattails, because he's really truly like a tremendous artist, an amazing talent. And you know, Jeff, you know, and Chris, you know, and maybe Joe too, like if you ever work in creative fields, you know, you want to collab and get everyone's like special sauces and stuff. And, you know, for me, I'm trying to just sort of create a world and a tone, but you know, he's making a lot of creative choices, and how he decides to, you know, truly want to lay out panels, and what the, you know, cinematography, I'm going to say cinematography, but like what the composition is and things like that. So I feel very fortunate to work with somebody, and we work really well together, because I think we really understand that just the tone that we're going for. Yeah,
that's awesome. And how did you go about, you know, kind of getting into the process of this? How did you go about finding him? You know, did you know him previously? Did you kind of put a Craigslist ad out, or how did you go about that?
Yeah, you know, I actually searched just a ton of Instagram hashtags. That's how.
Oh wow.
That's just finding like comic artists and things like that. Now, I found some artists. It wasn't actually through a hashtag that I found him, but I did find my colorist and my letterer through Instagram hashtags. But he happened to be just a friend of a friend who's another comic writer. Did a little short, like I think like 6-page mini anthology issue with him. And I just saw his work, and I was like, oh, his work is amazing. And then I kind of like stalked his, what is it called? The Deviant Artists page that he has like all his portfolio on. And I was just like, oh, like he can draw this, you know, such like this gritty sort of interesting style, which to me, I wanted to tell a classic noir detective Lovecraft book, but I knew that like this is a story that has been done, so I want to give it a little special artistic spin. So I thought that he could kind of take that on. And I just reached out to him. I sent him over my pitch and my treatment and all the materials, and he liked it and he was willing to do it. So I got lucky.
That's awesome. And then was it a situation where you sent him your script, your write-up, and he sent you back a finished product, or was there a lot of back and forth there?
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of back and forth. Like I sent him my script and I put like a treatment together, which is like, here's the tone, here's the characters and synopsis and all that stuff. And he took a look at it and he said that he was willing to take it on, and we kind of like negotiated his rates and things like that. And then he would just do one page at a time, and we would just kind of go back and forth. He'd do a SketchUp. We'd go back and forth on the layout. And in most cases, whatever he wanted to do was how I would let him draw the page, even though like it's scripted out. And the only times that I would say, hey, tweak this or tweak that, is if I felt like there was a story element that needed to be better served. So yeah, it was just a one page at a time, back and forth, and a slow process, because he wants to put all his effort and work into it. And so, but it ended up being worth it.
Awesome. I'm going to put the brakes on our questions really quick, because we do have another member of the show. He's not a co-host officially. He's a correspondent, but he did want to say hello.
He did. Yeah. He's actually on location right now. Well, all right, Chet, here we go.
Hey there, folks. Chet here, broadcasting live from the electrifying Ashley Furniture Home Store Pavilion, where Limp Bizkit is about to rock the stage. But guess what? Tonight on Comic Book Canon, I've got something special for you. My very first comic book review. That's right, the Chetster is diving into comic book critique, so get ready for a night of insights with a touch of narcissism as I share my thoughts on Sanity, the Rise of the Occult by Mickey Finnegan, or you may know him as Swaggelhouse. I won't be pulling any punches on this one as I get ready to join the LB Mosh Pit.
Oh, so it looks like he has a little review of the book.
Yeah.
Did he just say Mosh Pit?
Mosh Pit,
Pit, the LB Mosh Pit. So, guys, he's about to see Limp Bizkit, but he made the show. That is commitment. I don't think he's in the right place. I think he's just in front of a Ashley Furniture Store in Phoenix, but we don't need to get into that.
I think a positive Chet review can make or break your career, right? Like he's a big tastemaker.
Like, we don't know. He's never done a review before. So this is the first comic book review. I don't know. Should we have him do it right now?
Yeah, let's see what he has to say, and we'll get back into some more questions in a second.
Sounds good. Here we go.
So, Swags, I had the privilege, or at least that's what I'm telling myself, of delving into your masterpiece, Sanity, Rise of the Occult, and let me tell you, it was quite the experience. Los Angeles in 1936, illuminated by the, so enlightening Broadway lights, but of course, harboring unimaginable horrors in the dark corners. A bold setting, I'll give you that. Our main character, Robert Grant, is quite the charmer, isn't he? His combination of charm and skepticism really makes him stand out, like a sore thumb in a horror story. Now, about the art style, let's just say it's unique. A little more clarity in those panel transitions might be nice, but who am I to judge? By the way, Swags, between us, if I ever decided to write a comic, it would, without a doubt, put your little sanity to shame. But I digress. In conclusion, your supernatural detective tale is intriguing. I mean, if readers are into that sort of thing, they might find it worth a read. Who knows, right? Consider my approval equivalent to patting a toddler on the head when they use the toilet. Good job.
Okay, well, that's, I guess, a positive review, right? And
I've gotten worse comments on my YouTube video, so
there we go.
I'll take it.
I think we all have. Yeah.
This is honest to God. Chet is an AI character, all created through AI, but this literally Chet did this review on his own. I know it sounds scary, but it's a fact. So we have him each and every week. He is our correspondent. He will be back with New Comic Book Day. Actually, he has some questions for you, which we'll get to in a hot second, Swags. But please proceed, Joe, with the interview.
Yeah. So, next question I was going to ask is about actually getting physical copies and getting them printed. Because, anyone that does this and would want to have physical copies of a comic book, personally, I wouldn't even know where to start. Did you go through like a publishing house or a printer? How did you get that to paper?
Yeah, so I actually just did a lot of YouTube searching, just researching videos I could find of like people who had like printer reviews or best place to print comic books and stuff. And the one that kept popping up was a company called Print Ninja, which is like printninja.com. And they're sort of like I don't know what you would call them, like maybe the go-to indie comic facilitator. I think that, and they did a great job. You enter your prompts and all your info, and they kind of help shepherd the experience along for you. They upcharge a little bit, so it's a little bit more of a premium, but like, and I think I could have maybe found local printers, which might have been easier to deal with. But since I did it as a Kickstarter, I really didn't want to screw up anything. I was really, really nervous fulfilling this and just making sure that like everything went smoothly. So I used them, and they did a pretty good job, albeit there's a lot of issues that they ship it from overseas, and I got a lot of damages. So you have to like deal with that type of thing.
So did they do like the layouts of the pages and the wording other than the word bubbles, like the contents in the beginning? No,
I have to I just give them all those assets.
Okay, gotcha.
But they'll do layouts in terms of like what do you call it? Like the TV safe type of like numbers and things like that. Like they take care of that stuff.
Gotcha.
Super in the weed type of stuff, but
they'll probably help you along. Again, I've never seen, but they probably give you the guidelines that the art has to be within these parameters right here. And producing like a commercial for TV, it has to be TV safe. So you have to kind of bleed over the edges. So they take that in. So you have to always keep in. I mean, the artists, I guess, are the ones that are responsible for making sure that it always fits within those parameters. I do believe.
Yeah. They'll just point out that stuff. Luckily, I didn't have to worry about it, but they took care of that stuff.
That's great.
But as far as like, the graphic design of the title pages and layouts of pages and all that stuff, like that's on me and my letterer to create.
Okay, great. So really the last question that I have, and if anyone wants to jump in with other ones, including audience members, feel free to put it in the chat now. We're not doing Ask Joe today. We can do Ask Swag today. But I kind of want to know what the timeline was for this process from when you conceived this idea to write and put out a comic book and until you had it in hand. How long did that take? And what was the division of the time there? What amount of time went into planning, writing, facilitating, and printing?
Yeah, so I started it. I started writing it a year and a half ago, so top of 2022. And I think at that time I just sort of was thinking to myself, okay, like, well, it'd be kind of cool to do a comic book. Like, what could I do that might be sort of an interesting project, from my YouTube and stuff that people might think would be kind of cool. I'm not a comic book dealer, right, or anything like that, but I do write. I work in film outside of it. So I was like, okay, well, maybe I can take my writing skills and make a comic book, and people would want to support me through that. So I started writing it at the top of last year, and it took me about a few months because I wrote through the first like 6 issues and stuff, and then the process of finding an artist took a little bit of time, and then I think I finally got Santiago on board in say August of last year, and got him to start to draw and everything, and fully funded it up front. And once I got him to draw, then I was like, I got to find some variant artists to do variant covers, because like, I got to create those things for, Kickstarter and all that. So that was the whole end of year process. And then I launched my Kickstarter at the top of this year and fulfilled it. So I think I took a lot of time at the beginning, because to me it was an experiment, and I was self-funding all of it. And I was like, I don't know if anyone's going to buy this. Like, I don't know if anyone cares. So I'll just make sure that I get it right, at least at the beginning, and hopefully people dig it. And but now, since I did the first one and I'm like, okay, I want to do the rest of the issues, now it's a little more of a pipeline that I'm on, that I think I can increase the speed. But yeah,
very cool. To
answer your question, year and a half ago.
Gotcha. As far as planning for the future, is this something? Do you have a set number of issues that you want this story to be, or are you kind of leaving it open?
So I'm definitely going to get through 6, and that's going to be the first story arc, and it kind of lands in a place. But I definitely have aspirations to go longer. I think I'll just sort of have to check in with myself and see if there's, people still interested at that point. But yeah, I'd love to make it as an ongoing series if I can. I have a lot of lofty aspirations and ideas.
There you go. Awesome. We got a comment in the chat, a question. What would you say the hardest part about making Sanity was?
I think it's just the waiting process with getting artists on board and just sort of waiting for them to turn in pages, or if it's a variant cover artist, for them to turn in a variant cover. Like I'm just a very, very small team on this, so I'm not their number one priority project. So there's a little bit more of like that waiting, and yeah, I'd say that's the hardest part is just keeping the process up, keeping the energy up, waiting for the pages, and then rallying the troops.
Yeah, and I can imagine it being a whole new experience, something that you hadn't done before. It's going to be very daunting up front, and then you kind of maybe get the flow of things. Our guy Chet, he has something else he wants to say.
He does have a question, and he's actually addressing what he thinks is a rumor. I think, well, Chet, take it away.
Folks, I couldn't help but hear this ridiculous rumor about Swags supposedly burning his comic book to create scarcity in the market. I mean, come on, burning comic books? That sounds like something straight out of a poorly written comic plot. Now, I'm all for a good story, but seriously, Mickey, let's keep our feet on the ground and our comics in our hands, shall we?
It's interesting he asks that because you provided us a commercial where there's actually proof that you did. I want to roll this whole commercial too. By the way, we could talk. This is part of your marketing plan, obviously. It addresses Chet's question about the rumor that you burnt books, which I think will be answered here. Also, I really like what you've done here, and I think others will agree with that. I think Joe and Chris, I don't know if you guys have seen this, but let's roll the clip.
Hi, I'm Mickey, also known as Swagglehos from the YouTube channel Swagglehos Comics and Games, where I talk about the hobby of comics and comic book collecting. And I'm here to tell you that your comic book collection deserves better.
What the hell, man?
And it's gonna have spine ticks. You see, for the last few years, your pull list has been plagued with low-quality printing, overdone gimmick covers, and rare exclusive variants that are rarely exclusive nor varied. But with my new comic series Sanity, Rise of the Occult, a Lovecraftian pulp adventure that pays homage to the detective style of comics from the Golden Age, I promise to subvert your expectations by actually providing you a high-quality comic with a cohesive story in its pages. Yeah, that's right. There's a story behind this cover. You see, Sanity wasn't created by some click of a button on an AI program intended to make the FOMO book of the week. It was done the old-fashioned way, sitting at a desk for weeks on end, developing carpal tunnel and bad posture, and not getting paid a single dollar to do so. I mean, aren't you tired of paying for overpriced foiled variants that publishers have marked up? With my book, you can get yourself a copy, a box of Reynolds wrap with over 75 strips of shiny, and have enough money left over to save up for that grail you've been going after. Dark Hawk 1 to the moon! And do you really need another book with Power Girl on the cover showing off her massive capes? The problem with those covers is that it requires you to change the bag every 2 days, and have you seen the prices for comic book supplies? That Mylar really adds up. My book only requires one bag. Scrolls. So head on over to SwaggleHouseComics.com and start improving your comic book collection today with a copy of Sanity issue number 1. And be quick! Because when I say my print run is limited, I actually mean it. How's that for proof of destruction? My name is Swagglehos, and I'm here to tell you that your comic book collection deserves better.
That was fantastic. That's why we had to roll that whole thing, because it's so much work that goes into pushing out a comic book, but it's also so much work to market the comic book.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of work. What you decided to do is commitment. You're in production. And just letting y'all know, it's not that easy to do that. So I applaud you. That should answer the question, chat, that he did burn those comic books. So,
well, color me. Still skeptical. Can we really trust what we see on screens these days? Maybe it's just some elaborate special effects trick, right? I mean, burning comics for real? That's like trying to make a milkshake by blending your favorite vinyl records.
Okay, you know what? We're moving on from Chet. Joe, get a handle on this interview before he takes over here.
Yeah, he's got some issues. So we have a couple of additional questions. If you're comfortable with answering this, this is an interesting question from kind of the other side, the non-creative side, the financial side of it. Will this project be profitable?
Well, profitable just means, that we're in the green to some degree. I would say that it's hard for me to actually know if I've made any profits, because all I'm doing is taking any profit and pushing it towards the creation of the rest of the comic book. So I think, maybe revisit that question when we get to issue 6, and I'll let you know where we are. But I'm not going to buy any comic book grails anytime soon, but I'm going to at least be able to take care of my artist and letterer and colorist and all that stuff.
That's huge.
Next
Keep
issue.
them happy, obviously. Yeah. I do want to point out too that, another lucrative way or way to make some more money from this property is to, sell it for the big screen, which I'm sure you're not opposed to, by the way. But a little segue, here, just a little update. We should know within the next hour if the strike ends or continues. Thank you, Josh, for that. So again, I don't. It's I'm sure you would be, being a filmmaker, being a writer, being somebody that's in an editor, that's in that world. I'm sure that's something that you look forward to, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think as it's something that I do outside my YouTube. So I was like, well, like what skills can I, put towards, getting this comic book out there and stuff. And I think, as I mean, it's hard. Like anytime you're trying to market anything, like just cutting through the noise and getting in front of people. And like, yeah, there's, my YouTube and stuff, and I can help get the word out. And certainly the people that get the book are just in a way supporting me. But, the hope is to sort of bring in other people, or to get them to actually, make the purchase and stuff. So I just thought of doing something that would be kind of a fun commercial that maybe sort of points out some of the like pain points and things in the comic hobby. It's very inside baseball to all of us, but maybe everyone can have a laugh of that and support someone who, wrote the comic, instead of just, making an AI cover on a variant, So that was my little dig.
Honestly, it's good to be able to bring that to light as well. And again, really, really well done. I want to bring up the image here again. We have the link down below in the description, but I think all of the variant covers are out, but cover A is still available. So please, people, we love to support the community, people who are in the community and doing things like this. So again, get your book, get issue 1 at swaghouse.com. Joe, please continue.
Yeah, no, that I had turned it over to the audience. We got a bunch of great questions.
Yeah, we did.
We have some very important questions about your love for Darkhawk, but maybe we'll save those for another time. And a lot of dad jokes about well done comics, which is great. Yeah, I mean when I first saw that, your advertisement, I was like, oh my God, this is such a good way to promote it. And it is so great that you're a part of the community. You're someone who's very active. You do live streams, for the heritage auctions. You're putting out videos on a very regular basis, and now you're doing this, which is really cool. And I know there's a lot of people that support you in your other endeavors, and great way to kind of funnel that to something creative in a different way. So yeah, big kudos to you. In all honesty, I don't have a physical copy yet, but I'm definitely gonna order one. I read the book; it's great. Definitely want to have one for my PC, and I can't wait for issue 2.
Thank you. Yeah. It's a tremendous amount of work, but it's very rewarding, and it's very, very fulfilling and exciting, and also a little nerve-wracking. In fact, actually, I'll go back. Somebody asked, what's the hardest part about making the comic book? I think definitely having to act in my own commercial was horrifying. And having to look, it's already you guys you edit your videos and stuff. And so it's already a little cringe to have to watch yourself. Yeah. And then it's even more when I'm just oh my God, like, is anyone going to think this is funny? Like, is this like
Yeah.
so stupid?
Casey
You know,
was
like I
great.
just,
You were great. Like literally, it was fantastic.
but you know how, like, I'm like, I know, you know, Jeff, where it's like, you watch your thing, you're just like, is this terrible? Are people going to think this is funny? You know?
From a creator perspective, there's one time I directed and was in my band's music video, and it was one of the worst things I have ever done. Ever done. And I'm not going to say which one it was, but from there, it's like you learn like to be able to trust people to put you in the best position. So I hope
that's
you
true.
are directing while on camera. It's not easy to do that at all.
Yeah.
So again, like you trust the people that you surround yourself with creatively to inspire each other and grow with each other. And however you produce that, it worked. I don't, you know, and you may have done everything there. You may have done everything from directing to sound to acting, all of that, but it worked.
Well, I'm glad you thought so. But that was one of the hardest parts of doing that one. Yeah.
Not easy. Not easy. Do we have any more questions here?
I think we hit all the questions.
I mean,
we're
you know,
good.
Dan's big on Darkhawk, you know, so he's joking here because he has at least 50 of issue 1 from the 90s. And I know he does.
Yeah.
He's gonna be Darkhawk for Halloween. Come on, Dan. That's not true. There's no way. All right. Again, very happy, and it's an honor to have you on here talking about something that it's a labor of love, is what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It takes away from all the other things you have going on in your life, but it's good to see that it's out there, because just being out there is a success, and everything else on top of that is icing on the cake. But right now, we need to move to the next segment, because correct me if I'm wrong, Chris, dinner's got to get made soon. Am I right?
Always. I already did all the prep work. We're making lentils, so you got to chop up
that sounds
sweet potato, carrots, onion, garlic, cilantro, a million other things, ginger, and all that kind of fun stuff. So
you can never have enough cilantro, is what I always say, and I'm almost an executive chef. But that being said, our next segment is one you all know and one you all love. That's right. It is props or flops, and the image is gone.
Oh no!
Where is the image?
Chet stole it.
We're gonna fire Jeff as producer and hire Mickey. There we go.
What were you saying? I saved the day. I saved the show. Go for it, Chris. Explain, please.
You just killed it, Jeff. You killed it.
I know. I really did.
Props or flops, guys. Come on, man. Upload any comic book to Instagram. Use the hashtag props or flops. I finally, one of them worked. The hashtag actually worked for one of the submissions this week. But remember, always tag us, tag Comic Book Canon, tag myself, because those hashtags do not work too well all the time. Upload a book. Tell us why this book interests you. Is it something that you just purchased? Is it something that's on your radar that you're looking to invest in? And we will break it down on our show. Remember, this is for investment purposes only, not just because you love the comic book. Giving us all the details that matter in terms of analyzing the market are very important too. Tell us how much you paid for it. Tell us what it's going for, if you're looking to purchase it for, et cetera, et cetera. All those things matter. And we will tell you if we give it a props or flops, if we think that book is a good investment, short-term, long-term, whatever it may be.
That's right. And we have some good ones today. And obviously Swaggle House is a guest co-host.
Yep.
So he has his say too.
Yep.
And you know he knows his stuff.
Yeah.
So with that being said, which one do you want me to bring up first?
Well, you don't have an image for this one.
Oh.
So but we'll make it work. We'll make it work. Okay. So this is one that you know, kind of breaking the rules here because nobody really submitted it, but I guarantee you there's a lot of people out there that are asking props or flops. So our first book today that we're going to be talking about is this book right here called Insanity, Rise of the Occult. Number one. So yeah, I mean, props or flops. So first off, let me say one thing. Swag, you know, quality of this book is solid all around. So if you guys are looking to invest in these books and send them to CGC or CBCS or even EGS to get those saucy custom labels on it, yeah, maybe you want to get it signed. Maybe you get a copy, and you know, when Mickey does his CGC signature series signing, you know, you can get it graded there, or you know, you can check them out at the next con, get a copy signed, and go get it slabbed at EGS as a signature series as well. But my point is, you know, good chance of maybe getting some 9.9s. Absolutely. All right.
Hey, again, the next film property. Let's you know.
Yeah. So let's talk about it. I mean, because Jeff, you just talked about it. I mean, what we got going on, at least one issue in, is you got a story for, especially for me, like, and I'm not, you know, saucing it up. I'm truly interested in knowing what's going to happen next. This thing is written incredibly well to where it could absolutely jump right off the pages and go into some type of live action. I mean, I could see this going into a live action film. I could see it going into a live action TV show. I can even see it going into like I don't know what the proper like definitions are for this type of animation, but do you guys remember about maybe around 2007, 2008, there was a Batman animated film released that was really dark and gruesome. Do you guys remember that? I don't know if it was Gotham by Gotham. I forget.
Yeah.
I wish I would have known, because I remember I tried watching it with my son, who was like 5 years old at the time, because he's a big Batman fan. And we watched like 10 minutes of it. I'm like, nope, this is going to give him nightmares. But it was a very, you know, the way I think it was almost like still framed, where you have like you know, the frames are not really, it's not moving at the standard rate or whatever. Somebody help me with the technical terms here, but
frame rate is what.
Well, it's like almost like anime is kind of like that. Yeah, like the frame rate.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I can see so much being done with this. So when you talk about like speculation in terms of properties of what this book may do, all right, and when you think about the rarity of the book, I mean, we're Swag, you're hitting on all of the points, and of making this book something that absolutely could look. If and I'm not giving you guys my personal opinion here on this book, but ISOM, which I know there's a lot of controversy around there, man, if that dude can pull out the sales that he was pulling on eBay on the secondary market, Sanity, absolutely. So guys, if you had the chance to, you know, pick one of these books up a year from now, if you're listing it up on eBay, man, I might have to give this book a props.
Can I point out one thing that's a little bit of I have to tap myself a little bit on the back because it excited me. So there have been two variant CGC 9.8 sales of my variant cover books that I didn't sell. It was someone who backed my Kickstarter who sold it.
Yep.
And so the one of them that is like looks like an EC book that effectively it would have retailed around like $49.99, $50.
Right.
That's CGC 9.8 sold for $150. And then one of the ones that would have retailed around $20, that was a live auction bid, $1 start, and it sold at $83. So I was really excited about that.
There you go.
I was
There
excited.
you go.
That is great. I love it.
But in all honesty, guys, in all honesty, you know, I mean, hey, I'm not, like I said, just stirring the soup here, and like, look, there's Mickey, aka Swagman. You've done something absolutely amazing in every aspect of this book. I'm not sitting here telling you guys to speculate on this. Obviously, we're just having fun, but I had to present this book to just give it a props all around. If you're picking this book up to read, if you're picking it up to collect, if you're picking it up just because, you know, you love the guy in this corner box over here, all are props for me, and I think everyone else that's here probably
definitely
Appreciate it
all around. All right, but we're gonna get into some of the audience props or flops here. So which one would you care to start with at this point?
All right, man. Let's go with let's go with the Joel's Man Cave. I actually was hitting him up. I'm like, Joel, how much did you pay for this book? And I'm trying to see if he hit me back up yet. He didn't. Oh man. So okay. So it's still a cool, interesting submission here, because this is an X-Men one shot that was basically a Tony's Pizza giveaway or mail in. You know, like you get the Tony's frozen pizzas, and you could do, you cut the clip off the from the cardboard container and you mail it in to get these issues. I remember they had like the Pizza Hut issues that they were offered there too, like in the 90s. Marvel was doing that a lot, with Spidey and X-Men books. So I don't know how much Joel paid for this book. I don't know if this is something that he collected as a kid that he like mailed in and got for himself, or maybe he picked it up from a comic bookstore recently. I don't know. But the one thing that's very interesting for me is because I've seen books like this, maybe not this specific one, but I've seen like the Pizza Hut ones or those or certain other mail-in comic books like this. You can often find them in like bargain bins, 50-cent bins, dollar bins, etc. And they're just thrown in there. So I looked this book up, and there are actually some recent sales going back over the last couple of years, and there was over 5 sales that sold for $10 or more. I think the highest one was like 14. So when we look at this book from an investment standpoint, you had me a pizza. I think this could be a fun investment, and I would give this a props. Now, again, and Joe, you and I both often say this, we don't see this book. I'm not saying this book is going to be some type of grail or it's going to be worth $100 or hundreds of dollars, but I think it's something fun to have that maybe even as they age out, there could be more of a demand just because of the nostalgia around them, and we can't measure. I don't know if we can measure how many are out there, or there's this CGC census of, this is something that I think can be fun on the hunt and could be something that is very unique for collectors, even 10, 20 years from now at an even greater level. So if you could find these books in bargain bins, or even for a couple of books at a local LCS, at a flea market, whatever, I think they're a fun book to pick up, and maybe you can sell it for $10, $15, $20, and like I said, maybe down the road, 10, 20 years from now, maybe even a little more. So I give this a props, just for that factor.
Mickey, we'd love to know your thoughts.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. I'm gonna lose some street cred right now, but I've never seen that comic book before. I don't even know what it is. But I guess I would give it like, and I'm curious to hear what Joe would say about this, because I feel like that's the type of book, if you found that in a collection, and you could effectively get it out of a dollar bin, and let's say you sent it in, you got a 9.8 out of it, and you're in it for like $25, like it's probably a props at that point, right? Because I imagine it's a very, very specific person who would want it, but it's a very, very 90s looking X-Men cover, and if you don't spend too much on it, maybe you could sell it for like a 9.8 for $40 or $50 or whatever, right? So I don't know, I'll give it a, what's the plops, right? Where it's like depends on what you get it for.
Right. Exactly.
and then depends on what you do with it, I think.
Yeah, Joel, if you paid $20 for this book or something, then that changes the whole whole conversation.
Yes, well done. Hey, by the way, yes, Coach Dale, you guessed correctly. It is The Batman.
Well, the best Batman movie of all time. Yeah.
Okay, we're not going to get into that right now, but I'm just going to jump in real quick. I'm going to say it's a flops, to be honest with you. I think it's very niche because, again, if we focus on what the segment is, right, Chris? It's my voice just cracked. Yeah. It is for investment purposes only. So if you're going to turn this around and sell it for $20, it's really not. I mean, you'll make a profit, but again, was it worth all the trouble? Because your time is valuable as well. So that's what I'm saying. I'm moving on to Joe though.
Yeah. So this one is a very interesting one. And I'm just going to straight up go ahead and say that it is a slight props in my eyes. Reason being it is the reason that it's a props is this. Collectors and people who grew up in the 90s and collect that 90s stuff, they're always looking for things outside of the ordinary. Every single person out there has all 5 covers of X-Men #1. Yeah, you got your first appearance of Carnage that's in every 90s collection. You know, if you got the pockets for it, you got a first Deadpool. These are common books. But, you know, I grew up in the 90s and I'm always looking for stuff from that time period that is something outside of the norm. Spawn newsstands are a great example. They are very highly collected. In fact, I just sold over the weekend a Spawn, I want to say it was a Spawn 32 newsstand. Not really a key issue, just great, you know, Capullo art. I think it's the first new costume, maybe. But I think I sold it for $35 because it's a newsstand, and that book is probably in dollar bins for the non-newsstand. And that's because, again, 90s collectors are always looking for that something special because so much 90s stuff is so common. You know, so that's why I'm leaning towards props. Now, the reason that I'm going only slight props, the thing that kind of pulls me back here is kind of what you said, Jeff, and also what Mickey said. Mickey said, you know, I've never seen this one. This is not a very popular one. This isn't like the Maximum Carnage book that was also a mail away, or the X-Men Pressman variant for X-Men 11, which has a beautiful Jim Lee cover with a silver background. Those are way more known, more coveted, and they're realistically probably better investments than this one that is lesser known. Maybe it doesn't look as cool as the Maximum Carnage, so on and so forth. So yeah, I think it's a props just because, you know, people are always hunting down those weird things, but it's only a slight props because of the other options out there, like Maximum Carnage, the Pressman X-Men books, and stuff like that, that are going to honestly hold this book back because there's always going to be better options.
Okay, so 3 out of 4 give it a props. I'm the lone flops. I'm not a flop, though. My mom thinks I'm great. Just want to clarify that. All right, moving on, Christopher. You have another props or flops, and this is a fresh from the props or flops. That's terrible.
Yeah. This
Terrible,
is
man.
Yep. We got Raising Elm double dipping here, but hey, we're all for double dipping here on the canon, guys. So we got a fresh from the comic shop entry. You'll see this later in that segment, but first we got to prop it or flop it.
I like that. That's a verb,
yeah,
right?
I think we might have to change the segment. Prop it or flop it.
I like that. That's not bad. Okay.
You could make up a song.
Yeah.
Flopping it. Flopping
Flopping
it.
Yes.
There we go.
Flopping
All
it,
right.
We'll come up with a dance for it. It can go viral.
Or we could trap music it. You know.
Yeah.
Propping
Get on Fiverr and let's get a whole graphic design
Hey,
for this.
propping it, flopping it. Hey. All right. Raising Elm. We got something here. Let's pull it up, man. We got a couple of books. We know Raising Elm loves the Star Wars. I do too. Howdy Comic Fam, he says, earlier this week, I took a day off from work to get things done around the house and run some errands. He really means go buy some comic books. I'm just Raising Elm. I'm just gassing you. One of these errands was to go spend some time flipping through some comics at Entertain Mart, LOL, which is essentially the new version of Hastings. After about 30 minutes of digging, I came across something unique for Elijah's PC. Not only did I find a copy of Star Wars issue 49 for $2.99, but I found an Italian copy of the same issue for $3.99. I've never come across a comic in the wild that was from overseas before. This particular issue, published by Panini Comics, is a 2-for-1 because it also has a copy of Star Wars Poe Dameron issue number 26 inside of it too, and as an added cherry on top, the cover art is done by one of my top favorite artists, Salvador La Roca. Hope everyone is doing well this week and much love, Comic Fam. All right, guys. A couple issues of Star Wars number 49 from the 2015 Marvel run. Cool covers on this run. Not much value there. So we're gonna separate both of these. Okay, we're going to talk about standard cover A. This book is basically a cover price book. You know, you look at even online sales. I mean, there was a sale for like $1. There's a sale for $2, $3, $4, and that's basically the average. Not too many sales on the market. This book is not an investment book at all. So I mean $2.99, you know, is a great price for the book if you want it. And look, this is why this segment is what it is, though, guys. I give this a props all day because it's Star Wars and it's going in Elijah's collection.
Sure, that's
Yep.
yeah.
But I mean, there's just no investment here. So I mean, it's a simple, you know, Good Samaritan flops for me. You know,
Wait. What does Good Samaritan flop? You're too nice.
yeah. Well, you know, I mean, it's, you know, I'm not hating. I'm not mad because he spent $3. I'm actually happy that he spent $3 on this book for Elijah's collection, but it's just, there's just nothing there. It's a flops. All right. But when it comes to the Italian variant, you know, we got to look at that differently. He paid what, $3.99 for the Italian variant, which is basically, you know, USD cover price for our editions. I think the Panini variants are really cool. Like, I like their little. First off, man, I'm gonna tell you, as an old sports cards collector, Panini has been doing it, man, for like the last 10 plus years with the sports cards. So hands down to them. And also because for a while there it wasn't happening, but they brought the smell back. Like, you know, because for a while when you open that fresh pack of cards, that smell wasn't there. Anyways, nostalgia. Panini variant for $3.99. I couldn't find anything. And I know this was a controversial topic because of, you know, Reggie Collects. Shout out to Reggie Collects. You know, he did a couple videos there talking about how foreign comics aren't for him, and he got some flack, man. And I went back, I watched one of the first video he did a couple of times because I was hearing all this flack, and then I went back and I'm like, okay, yeah, he could have said that maybe a little different, but at the end of the day, variant comics aren't for me either. Like foreign variants aren't for me. I have one foreign variant, and it's a Silver Age Amazing Spider-Man issue number 10. It's a German variant, and I bought it for like $6 on eBay plus shipping. And my argument is this, and I don't think a lot of people that go after foreign variants know this. Foreign variants oftentimes aren't released the same time that the American counterparts are. So if you go after a foreign Hulk 181, depending what country it's from, I think the most recent one, because that book was released in what, 74. I think the most recent, the earliest foreign variant was released in like 81. That's just a random number thrown off top. But then you got like the Mexican variant that I think wasn't released until the 90s. And a lot of them did more and more started releasing in the 90s up until the 2000s. So that changes the value because they're more like a decades later reprint rather than just, oh, it's a variant. Like you got your UK variants, your Canadian price variants. Those books were a part of they are basically a first edition just released in their markets respectively. So that changes the thing. Now, that doesn't mean that there aren't variants out there that aren't worth money. I don't have any specific examples off the top of my head. Maybe you guys do, but I know there are. There are foreign variants out there that go for some money. I couldn't find anything on this, though. And I even tried to look up more recent Panini variants, and still there was nothing. There was like one graded 9.8 of one that sold for like $50. I forget even. It was a Marvel book. So like I'm going into this blind, you know, again, I mean, for somebody that likes Star Wars, it's really cool, I think, for him to have this book.
Can I get a timeout?
$3.99 for it. You can't lose.
Raising Elm just
He's here, yeah.
So we're talking about your props or flops, which is also your fresh from the comic shop.
So I don't have any data, you know, really. I can't really say props or flops on this because there's no data, but if I have to default, I have to default flops just because there is nothing there. And you can assume that, you know, there's nothing there because the demand isn't there. You know, I mean, if there was even any type of demand, I would think that I would see at least a few copies sold on eBay or even listed on eBay, and I really couldn't find anything. So unfortunately, I just think for both of these submissions, I don't see a long-term or even a short-term flip of investments there. But, again, I want to give Raising Elm kudos because he's always going after Star Wars books for his son. And I think that's really, really awesome.
If
but
that was what the segment was, like
it's
literally
not
just judging off of you buying the comic books for your child.
Yeah.
Props all day long on that.
Yep.
But I want to hear from Swags what you think too. Because again, investment purposes.
Yeah, for the investment purposes, with this Star Wars one, I probably give it a flops because, well, one, I think the variant, the foreign variant stuff, that's like a whole other conversation. And Journo, you kind of hit on some of that stuff, and there's some interesting things in there, and you can probably do well. But I think in this book, and maybe I don't know if this is like a key or anything, but for me, I just think that the Star Wars stuff, it's still pretty like new. It's still pretty like, which of these Star Wars books are really going to kind of break out the test of time and stuff. And I think there's like a few of them that could be good, but I think with this particular one, I don't know if it's necessarily like a key that people are after. Cool artist, I know LaRocca, right? Was that, I think he's got his following and stuff, but yeah, as far as like you being able to get this one and slab it and sell it years down the line for more, I think there's better places that you can go to than this one. So I would give this one a flops.
Joseph.
Yeah, so I have what I would call a small interest and a reasonable amount of knowledge about foreign comics. I have some specific things that I collect myself: Daredevil keys and Black Suit Spider-Man keys. For some reason, that's what I've delved into as far as collecting foreign comics. But like Mark just said in the chat, and what Chris said before, a lot of aspects go into collecting foreign comics. Specifically, when they're printed. Is this a first print run for just a foreign copy, or is this a reprint years and decades, sometimes decades later? A good example is the Silver Age UK price variants, which Jim Shooter has gone on the record as saying, those were printed at the same time as the American ones. In fact, they were printed before. They were the first part of the print run of the first printing of those books, Daredevil 1, X-Men 1, so on and so forth, because they had to print them early enough to get them off and shipped to Europe. So that would actually be the first part of the print run, which was really interesting to me. But yeah, again, do some research, find out when they were printed, find out, when the originals were printed, so on and so forth. And in my opinion, collecting what I want to call like random books, filler issues and stuff like that, even minor keys for foreign books is not really the way to go as far as for investment purposes. You're really going to want to be major keys. Now, I totally think that foreign books are a pretty untapped market. I don't know too many people that actually do collect them, and that could totally grow.
Sure.
There is potential for that to grow, but I would be putting my money into actual, significant key issues, not just necessarily great covers. Now, one thing that I just want to touch on really quick, that Justin did mention in his post, is that a lot of times they actually combine multiple stories, multiple issues into books, and sometimes they also have the cover of one of them or the cover of another one. In fact, they're the original, I believe it's the Spanish printing of actually it might be the Panini printing, I forget, of Beta Ray Bill's first appearance. The cover that we all know as Beta Ray Bill's first appearance is actually on the book that is the second and third appearance of Beta Ray Bill, and he's not even on the cover of his first appearance of that printing. So again, do the research, know what you're buying, know what you're investing in. I got to give this a flops, due to these things. But again, just kudos on the pickup for your kid. It's really cool to have something unique like a foreign book.
Yep, and I'm gonna make it quick. Love you, Justin. Love what you're doing, but this is a flops again because the segment is about investment. So yeah, that right there ends props or flops for the week. One more time, people. One more time, please send in your entry using the Instagram app. You all have heard of it before. You take pictures, you can upload and do fun things with it. Use the hashtag props or flops, but please tag us because hashtags are not reliable. Once again, hashtags are not reliable. Tag the picture. Do not tag us in the description. We probably won't see it if it is tagged in the description. Tell us why this book interests you. How much you paid for it is an important aspect too. Chris will break these down as he always does each and every week. And he does a fantastic job of that. All right, Christopher, we need to know right now before we move on to the next segment, which is relatively a new segment. All right, do you have to go cook the dinner or are you going to stay for this segment?
Yeah, I do. The funny thing is since, my return, since my hiatus, the standard text message of dinner needs is very common during the show while I'm here. So love you guys, man. And Mickey, thank you for coming on. And again, I'm honored to even have a copy of this. I'm actually really excited. It took me a little while to finally get up and read it, but I did, and I want to keep reading. And I want to, if anybody in this YouTube community can make a comic book and be successful, it's you. And I wish you the best of luck. And yeah, we're going to be here to support you along the way, man.
Appreciate it.
All right, Christopher.
All right, guys.
See you next.
All right.
Actually, forgot to say we
Oh,
don't
yeah.
have a show next week. We'll get into
No
that.
show next week.
No
Yep.
show next week, and we'll get into how that affects.
All right. See you
fresh
guys
stuff.
in 2
Chris, enjoy dinner. Thank
Bye,
you so
Chris.
much.
Peace.
All right, so our next segment, I had these grand ambitions to create this musical, like with adventure music and this motion graphics open. But sorry, people, it's still this AI created poster that looks like an Indiana Jones poster. It's called On the Hunt. Joe, give me some adventurous music right now.
Bum ba da bum ba da bum 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 ba da bum ba da bum 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 bum
Keep going.
bum
I'll
bum
explain what
bum.
On the Hunt is. Let's see how long you can do that for.
I listen. I was running out of breath. I'm very tired.
All right.
Very tired.
Sundays do that to us. Yes,
Yeah.
On the Hunt. We want to see what you guys are picking up on your hunts. Send us a video that's less than a minute, and we will put, not everybody, it's not like Fresh from the Comic Shop where we have time to show everybody's on the hunt, but we want to see what you guys are searching for, how you're searching for it, where you're searching for it. And we got a great submission. This is how you do On the Hunt. Dr. Plagueis, well done. We are going to roll your On the Hunt. And then guess what? There's a very special On the Hunt for me. That's right. We'll get to that in a hot second. But let's check out Dr. Plagueis.
This week for On the Hunt, I head down to my comic book shop's basement in search of some Silver Surfer Volume 3. I'm about halfway through this run, so today I'm just looking for some filler. There's about 200,000 comics in this basement. Came across the first Omega Red. Here's the bulk of it, plenty of S. Found a first Jessica Jones. There's some Surfer. Picked up about 10 issues that I needed. And a handful of keys.
Now that's exactly how we want to see On the Hunt. It takes a little bit of editing on your part. A little note, maybe add some music that's licensed, that's cleared by some sort of licensed music you can find online. But Dr. Plague is very, very well done. I like how he showed us where he went. I like what Mark said, 200,000 plus comics, plus someone bound and gagged to a chair. This video scared me at first. Yeah, it was great, but it also did look like Josh's house or Joe's house, and your wife agrees.
Yeah.
So
I think
anyways,
you should clip out Joe's rendition of the hunt video, and then everyone can use that as the music.
oh, that's a great idea. That's what we'll do.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yes, we'll make that available to all y'all. But again, well done, Dr. Plagueis. Your video is way better than mine, which I just stitched together right before the show. But I want to show you because, guys, this was very special. It was a first. Joe knows all about it. Here is my On the Hunt.
All right, I'm about to do a first here. I have never gone out and gotten a collection via Craigslist, but I'm about to check out a collection that's very promising. And I don't know what that was about. But if you if you end up seeing the rest of this video, that means it went well. And if you don't, you'll never know this video even existed because I'm not going to show it. It was a waste of time. So if that's not suspense for you, hang tight.
Well, you probably know just by the fact that this video was posted, it was a win. So let's check out some of these gets on the hunt.
All right, just going through here, we had some glitch in the Matrix, obviously. First, Kamala Khan, Eminem, Avengers crossover. You got Biggie Smalls in Deadpool. We have a classic Doctor Doom cover right here. Another classic Fantastic Four Doctor Doom cover there. Do believe that is the first appearance of Silk, but before that was, now I'm skipping over these golden ages. This is hard to do. First, Moon Knight, classic cover right there. You got first Null, first Black Suit Spider-Man, et cetera, et cetera. I love this cover. Neil Adams. Young Avengers #1. It's a big book. This Miles Nas mashup. Love it. Hip-hop covers are awesome. Then we go through here. We got the Thanos 13, first Cosmic Ghost Rider. You got the first Robbie Reyes Ghost Rider right there. Another first black suit, first America Chavez. Yeah, nice Shield book right there. We're just jamming through. Oh, El Muerto. Hey, first Venom cover. Black Panther #1. Love it. Then we got a bunch of first Miles Sister right there. Not much else going on here, but I mean, great pickup. I have to say it was completely worth it. There's Batman Beyond right there. Another Doctor Doom. Speed Racer #1. I don't know if you missed that. X-Force. Young Avengers, First Stature. Immortal Hulk #1. And then, blah, blah, blah. Warrior Nun, et cetera, et cetera. Frank Miller cover on that Fantastic Four, by the way. Love that. And there we go.
Yeah, I thought that would be super easy to put my On the Hunt together. Again, another testament to being like, if you're the producer, the on-camera talent, the director, the editor, it's garbage. Well, that's what happens with me.
Yes, I'm going to criticize you right now and
it's
say,
my VO. By the way, if you want to hire me, Swags, for your next production, obviously that's going on my reel. Go ahead, Joe.
I'm gonna criticize you because that looked like it was longer than the 1 minute time limit that we had.
That's why I said Dr. Plagueis did it so well. I do have to say here, that was just a tease because I have some big books that I did not show that I'm going to have for my Fresh from the Comic Shop. If that's allowed. Of course it is. Of course it is. I run the show just like you do. I have say, equal say. All right. So, Swags, I hope you're impressed with On the Hunt. Guys, again,
I'm very impressed.
Dr. Plagueis did a fantastic job. Like, literally, that's what we want to see from that. Maybe add a little bit of music. It gives it that little bit of energy, but fantastic job. So show us your On the Hunts next week. We cannot pick everybody. We will pick a few, maybe 3 tops. All right. So moving on.
Let's let them know. Reminder: keep it under a minute. No music that's going to get us booted off. If you can find some, free music that you can use in videos, that's fine. But don't put your favorite Kesha song that's going to get us.
Why
in
Kesha?
trouble.
I don't. Why?
I don't know. It's the first thing that came to mind. And there was a third thing. I forget what it was. Oh yeah, make sure you send it to us. Posting it on Instagram, that's one thing, but make sure you send it to us so we have the video. You can just send it to Comic Book Cannon's Instagram account. That's perfectly fine.
Right. That is right. Again, On the Hunt, music, please.
Oh, bum ba bum ba dum. I don't remember what I did for it. I got to write something, man.
Garbage. I think this segment is still developing. All right, before we head into our next segment, Please like, subscribe if you haven't done so already. We love hanging out with y'all on a Sunday night. Swags, we are so happy that you're here. I guess, co-host, you see how we're treating you much nicer than we did before because you are an alumnus?
Yeah, it's great. It's great to have my jacket, which I assume is in the mail.
It is in the mail. We sent it, like 2 years ago, I think, when we first had you on the show. So we should check on that. But right now, finally, he's been waiting in the corner. You never put Chet in the corner. Never put Chet in the corner. It's his new comic book day picks of this week. Right here.
Hey guys, it's Chet Gpot, and it's time for my top 3 picks for New Comic Book Day. Now, I know what you're thinking. Chet, you're a passive-aggressive prick. Why should I listen to your recommendations? Well, for one thing, I'm the only comic book influencer who's not afraid to tell the truth. I'm not going to BS you and tell you that every book is good. I'm going to give it to you straight. And for 2, I have great taste in comics. So if you listen to me, you're guaranteed to find some good books to read. So without further ado, here are my top 3 picks for New Comic Book Day. First up is Ultimate Invasion number 4. Now I know what you're thinking. Chet, the Ultimate Universe is dead, and you're right. But that doesn't mean that this book isn't worth checking out, because this book is the start of a new Ultimate Universe. And the team behind this book is pretty damn good. We've got Jonathan Hickman writing, and Brian Hitch on art, so you know that the story is going to be good, and the art is going to be stunning. Next up is Void Rivals number 4. This book is a bit of a sleeper hit, but it's one of my favorites. It's written by Robert Kirkman and drawn by Lorenzo De Felici. The book is full of great action, adventure, and humor, and it's one of the most creative books I've read in a long time. So if you're looking for something new and different, I highly recommend checking out Void Rivals number 4. Finally, we have Power Girl number 1. Now I know what you're thinking. Chet, Power Girl is a terrible character. And you're right, she is. But that doesn't mean that this book isn't worth checking out, because this book is written by Leia Williams and drawn by Eduardo Ponzica, and they're 2 of the best creators in comics right now. So there you have it, my top 3 picks for New Comic Book Day. I hope you enjoyed my recommendations, and I hope you check out these books. And if you don't like them, don't blame me. I told you that Power Girl is a terrible character. Check out!
For some reason, Chet forgot the images to the books, but
Yeah, Chet did.
he was very surprised. He was very excited about the Limp Bizkit show tonight. So, Chet, you're released. You're done for the night. Make sure you clean your station up. Go have fun at that Limp Bizkit show. Cheer Fred Durst on. Go for it. All right. Here we are. Finally in the stretch run. This is what everybody's waiting for. Everybody loves this segment. And I never can remember the name. Joe, can you please help me out?
I believe
I can fly. I believe I can. That guy's terrible. Why am I singing his music? Sorry.
Wow.
Yeah.
Canceled.
Yeah,
You're out of here.
It is a catchy song, though.
It is a catchy song.
It is.
Oh,
wow. You just dropped it early. Dude.
I'm sorry. Let's do it again.
Hold on a second. Well, I have a new co-host. It's Mickey here. Jeff is at least temporarily banned.
Should I drop the new segment since your host dropped the ball and dropped the new segment?
Let's see if I can figure out how to do this. Do you know, Mickey, what this next segment is called?
I believe I do.
What's it called?
Fresh from the comic shop.
Fresh from the pressing salon. We've got Fresh from the comic shop here on Comic Book Cannon. You submit your book using the hashtag FFTCS. You post it on Instagram. You tag us. We show it here on the show. Why did it come down? It came down because Jeff is manipulating things from behind the stage.
Yeah.
Now, I'm just going to say it. You don't have to submit a book that's $50,000 or whatever Jeff says. You just have to make it look nice. I'm going to bring Jeff back. He's better at this than me.
Here's the deal. Yeah, there are things you don't know. Like that lasts for 15 seconds. And my whole thing, it's planned out perfectly.
All right. Go ahead.
I don't know where we left off, but you know what? Fresh from the comic shop, and you guys upload your fresh gets each and every week. They can be 2 days old. They can be 20 years old. As long as they're fresh in your collection, we want to see them. On top of that, you can win an amazing prize each and every month. We have a giveaway from our proud sponsors, EGS Comics and Spider Dude comics as well. EGS people, let me tell you about them. They are unique. They are also, Tony is a member of this community. Please support EGS. I can't recommend it enough. Joe can't recommend it enough. Swags, I'm not sure if you have any comic books that are slabbed as EGSs, but they are fantastic. Optional custom labels. They have a proprietary case, their own case that I think is much better than CGC and CBCS, as well as fast grader turnarounds and fast turnaround times. Free graders notes is what I meant to say. Jesus Christ, I'm a mess. Plus, you could save 5% using the code Cannon5. And Spider Dude Comics, link is down below. Great selection of comic books online. This month's book, right here. Look at this gorgeous Momoko Extreme Venomverse. Again, you're looking at a customized label. You can't get that from any other slabbing service, grading service. We highly recommend them. Spider Dude provided the book. We are very happy to be in partnership with them. I just wanted to make notes here, guys. We had a semifinal, and we had Goonish Lurker beating Raising Elm. I tell you, Raising Elm is in the semis quite a bit, even the finals, and I don't know. Both great submissions right there. So the finals are set up. We have Goonish Lurker versus Dan and Tessa. Super excited for that. We will have that up on Wednesday to vote for. That is right. Y'all ready to show off some comics, my friends? Here, right here?
Yeah, I got some cool ones today.
Okay. I may win this week. I hope Dan De La Torre is still here because he'll be very, very proud of me. Yeah, he'll definitely be proud of me. All right, moving on. Let's just get this thing started, shall we? We shall.
Do it.
We got Jacob Comics right here. Oh, by the way, time out. That's right. You guys can win a book each and every month. The criteria that goes in this book, we want to see a well-composed shot. Get creative with the shot. Just don't put it up on your ugly bed sheets and take a picture with terrible lighting and just hit my hand and that hurt. Please get creative with the shot. Have it in it surrounded by things that are associated with the book. Get great lighting. A well-composed shot also means depth of field. We see that background fall off. It looks fantastic. Great lighting. Keep those things in mind. The second thing that Joe, I'm tripping over my words. So please give me the second thing.
The second thing is uniqueness. Find something cool, maybe something we haven't seen before. It doesn't have to be $30,000. You don't have to show us an AF-15, nothing like that. Show us something cool, unique, maybe scarce, rare, unknown. It doesn't necessarily have to be something super expensive, something super coveted. Mark Leneker does a great job of this, always showcasing golden age books that are, offbeat titles, indie books, stuff that people have not heard of. Do that. And the third criteria, Jeff, are you taking this one or am I?
I mean, you're on a roll.
I'm on a roll. Tug at those heartstrings. Tell us the story behind the book. Maybe it got washed away in a flood when you were a kid. Maybe your great-grandfather brought it home from the war.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah, I just made that up.
That's really imagine if we got a submission like that.
Why was your great-grandfather in a war when he was your great-grandfather? He would have been 80 years old. But
Could
anyway,
be World War I.
Maybe he'll have a foreign edition.
Oh, I did once buy a
foreign.
collection from a guy who was a military guy, and he had a lot of foreign books.
Ah.
Yeah. Anyway, back to the whole thing. Tell us the story behind it. Tell us what it means to you. Tug at our heartstrings.
I do want to point out that we do have 30 million viewers, and Don Gustavo's Sleepy Slots, we are glad you are on top of the world. Because it's 22 million right now. It's getting late for a lot of people. But moving on. All right. First up, we do have Jacob's Comics right here. Some more of the newsstand collection hit some amazing grays. Cable's another mutant I'm fond of here in his first solo title. Cable definitely has the eye of a tiger, and he is possibly one of the last known survivors from a far-flung future. Dude, that was a tongue twister, and I landed that, by the way.
I like that.
I should be hired for some sort of VO work. I'm definitely glad to have finally submitted a 9.8 of this book. This was the 8th copy. Got to keep your eyes peeled. It's possibly one of the last known survivors, like Cable himself. Now, everybody, this is a fun little thing he wrote up here because he has Eye of the Tiger playing by Survivor in there, but we can't play that here because we'll get knocked off of YouTube. No big whoop, but I appreciate it nonetheless, Jacob Comics. Well done, Swags. I hope you're keeping notes here because you are required to pick the person who moves on to the first October semifinals. Yeah,
All right.
that's what it is. And we're going to get into that in a hot second. But while we're at it, Swags, give us your first fresh get of the week. What do you got?
All right. How many are we doing here? How many are we doing? Because I picked up three. All right. I'm going to
You're trying to take control of this segment.
Okay. All right. Here we go. Because now this is a little bit of a cheat because it's fresh, but it was from the Comic Con that I went to.
That's fair. That's fair.
All right. Well, I was at 626 Comic Con. I got to actually have a table and set up my comic book there, which was fun. But there was one booth that had some early ASMs, and the price was right, and I couldn't help myself. So I picked up this amazing Spider-Man number 44.
There you go.
Yeah.
Very low grade, but hey, second appearance of the Lizard, and I got it for $10. So I figured,
oh,
hey,
wow.
Can't go wrong with a $10 second Lizard.
Props.
So, very, very cool book right here. Lizard is my favorite villain of all time.
Interesting. Okay.
As far as like, especially Spider-Man villains, he's one of my favorite characters. I don't know. I just always liked his story. So I always smile when I see the Lizard books. So
That's really cool.
That's my first fresh from the Comic Con.
That $10, that's pretty good.
That's great. Yeah.
The price was right, you know.
I'd pay $10 for one like missing a centerfold. Like that's great. That's really awesome.
And as Joe has he's coined this phrase, he's copywritten it.
I have not.
Low grade is better than no grade. He will sue anybody who uses that, by the way.
I literally have stolen that from someone else.
You should put that on a shirt because that's a great saying, Joe.
And sell
it's
it.
amazing that you
and
came
have your
up with
logo
that.
on there.
Yeah.
And say, I created this.
I
Copyright.
didn't. I did not.
All right. Anyways, we got to move on here. We got Dr. Plagueis. You may know this name because he was the one who just submitted the On the Hunt. I think that's going to be the thing right there. We'll have it echo too. We'll do VO. I'll have it echo with that exciting theme music that you came up with.
On the hunt.
Yes. Like we're in a cavern and we're on the hunt. All right. We're getting a little too far ahead of ourselves. Dr. Plagueis, what do you got right here? The White Queen Emma Frost by submission this week for Comic Book Canon is fresh from the comic shop. And Mutant Monday is the amazing Virgin variant cover of Marauders #1 that I picked up from Spider Dude Comics, who has quickly become one of my favorite comic sellers. By the way, sponsor of Fresh from the Comic Shop. Well done. The deals and community they have invited me into is unlike any. I'm grateful for the people like them who keep the comic community rejuvenated, fun, and bring me back to a time when I first started collecting comics 20 plus years ago. Everybody, that's what it's all about. Right there, that's what it's all about. Love to hear that. Did Dr. Plagueis win a Fresh from the Comic Shop? I cannot remember. Plagueis, you are here. Let us know. I don't know.
I don't know if he won he won a weekly. I don't think he won the slab for that month though. I forget.
He said not yet.
So.
He is eligible. He is eligible. Joseph, your first fresh get of the week.
Oh, mine. Okay.
Yeah,
so this was really cool. Last night, I went to see some local bands play, some guys that I have known since my early teens. It was their 20th anniversary show, which was really cool that they're still a band, still playing together. They even get to tour occasionally. Some of them have kids now, all that stuff. But one of the guys in one of the bands, when I got there, he's like, "Oh, I'm so glad you came. I brought a box of comics for you." And I was like, "Oh, well, that's unexpected, but very cool." And it was Bronze Age stuff. A lot of the stuff was missing Marvel value stamps or in poor condition. But this book, I love this book. I think this is a massively underrated book as far as Bronze Age horror goes. This is Tomb of Dracula number 18, and it is the first meeting of Dracula and Werewolf by Night, who realistically are the two really popular characters that came out of that first wave of Marvel Bronze Age horror. You know, you've got the Frankenstein, you got the Mummy, and a bunch of other supporting characters and stuff like that. But these two, I feel like as far as the like firmly horror stuff, these two have by far the most popular runs, the Tomb of Dracula run and the Werewolf by Night run. And yeah, this is great. This might be a sharper copy than the one in my personal collection. So I gotta kind of check on that and see if I'll be keeping this one or passing it along to another collector.
Well done.
Very
Either
cool.
way. Well done. Some more well done things here from our great audience. We got Into Oblivion. Into Oblivion 2099 Unlimited #1 from July 1993. The first appearance of Hulk 2099. $1 at Ollie's Bargain Outlet. Those places are crazy. I don't know if you guys have been there, but there's some fun stuff. I just was there this weekend heading up to my niece's birthday party. I got these awesome Star Wars books for $2. They're usually $15.
Nice.
So just for my niece and my daughter. So just keep that in mind. Really, really, really cool. Moving on, we got, who do we have? Marvel Man 616 comics. Marvel Man 616 comics. Predator vs. Wolverine #1. The homage cover. I like this cover way better than the Wolverine homage cover they did for this book. It's pretty cool. I mean, I feel like we're almost at a point where this homage is done. It's a little overkill. But
Never.
This is pretty unique, I have to say. Never? I don't know, man. What do you think about ASM 300? Do you think that's overkill?
200 years from now, the hologram comics that are coming out are still going to be homaging Todd McFarlane. That's just how it's going to be.
I understand.
It's a rites of passage. I think every character has to have one.
Or every artist has to have one, too.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Fair. All right. My first fresh get of the week. Here we go. This could be the biggest fresh get I have ever had. Actually, it is. Who are we kidding, right, Joe? I mean, like, it is.
It is.
It is. I'm just going to start real quick with a book I couldn't show because it was just a poorly done video on my part. This is, what is it? Thanos #15, a 9.8. I guess it's the first Black Silver Surfer. I don't know. Maybe. I'm not familiar with this run. I guess
I think that's Death of Silver Surfer.
Death of Silver Surfer.
Look at the notes. Does it say
on the label?
It's Donny Cates. Cosmic Ghost Rider revealed to be Frank Castle.
There we go. It's the reveal.
Printing. But it's a cool print. It's really
very cool.
Yeah, it's
super
a great
cool
cover. But I'm just going to start off here with one of my lower books, a smaller key right here that I got. This is Ultimate Fallout #4. For some of you that don't know, this is the first appearance of a character called Miles Morales, who is he's Miles Morales. He has 2 movies out, the animated movies. One of them won an Academy Award. Really well done. I highly recommend it. So yeah, this is Ultimate Fallout #4. First appearance of Miles Morales. One of the smaller books I got.
One of the smaller books I got.
It looks like a nice copy too.
It's not actually.
Got a couple things.
Mylar. The Mylar making it look nice.
It does. You're right. There's definitely a spine tick right there.
Oh, that's okay though. Still huge book.
It is. Let's see. Can you? I don't know.
Yeah, you can see the tick a little bit.
Yeah, right there. You could definitely see it.
It's a flesh wound.
Yeah, just spit on it a little bit.
I'm going to take a marker.
Walk it off. Walk it off.
Take markers to these things. Moving on here. Mickey, you better be paying attention. I have a feeling you're kind of dozing off over there.
I am not dozing off. I can recite.
He's on the West Coast. It's like afternoon there.
Speaking of, Josh, if we can get an update on the strike, we'd appreciate it greatly. We have a show to do, for God's sakes. 23 million people watching right now. We got good friend Mark Leneker, my Cosmic Carnage set, Spidey 430, 431, and What If Volume 2, number 108. The Carnage symbiote joins with the Silver Surfer, and all sorts of hijinks ensue. Surprising that Marvel hasn't revisited this idea beyond the What If issue later the same year. Now, every character has is becoming merged with a symbiote, but this is an interesting one. I may have to go on to Marvel Unlimited and read this one. I haven't read this storyline at all, but it does interest me. What do you guys think?
It's one of the better storylines just because of how interesting it is. You've got this like cosmic character who is very unlike, Carnage, and very more like calm, soft spoken, versus Carnage just absolutely chaotic. That is, let's be real, Amazing Spider-Man was going downhill at that point in the
Sure.
in that part of the 90s. And that is one of the better storylines in my opinion.
I'm going to check it out. By the way, I missed this right here. Josh, this is a gem. Joe could go to dinner and the waiter would bring him a collection. It's amazing.
That has never happened, but honestly, it may at some point.
Never. It hasn't
had
happened.
some interesting ones.
Not yet. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Mickey, your second fresh scat of the week. What do you have?
All right. Well, same vendor, same guy, same section. Amazing Spider-Man. Picked up a book. I've actually never had this one, but now I feel like I'm in the club. I got an ASM 42.
Oh, you just hit the jackpot.
Yeah, first. Well, what do we want to say? Do we want to say this is the first appearance, or do we want to say first cameo? I know Chris would lose his mind arguing about this.
Chris has opinions.
He's definitely had opinions on this one.
This to me is it's a very interesting one because it's not the first cameo. There are other cameos of Mary Jane. It is the first time we see her full face. So you could call it the first full cameo.
And she speaks too.
She does.
She has the line, right?
She has the most iconic line that she ever speaks. So a lot of people do consider this a full appearance. In my rule book, even if they have speaking lines and, if they're only on one or even 2 pages, to me, that's a cameo, but I'm not going to argue with people. It's a great appearance. It's probably the most significant appearance of Mary Jane for sure.
Yeah. I'd say between this one and then the next one that people like is the one where she's actually on the cover, right? Like
dancing, like 57,
number 60 something, but
60.
But maybe, and a big Mary Jane key. It's kind of fun to find.
Again, with that book, if you're going to say that's the first appearance of Mary Jane, then you got to say the first appearance of Wolverine was 180, right?
Yeah, which I'm not willing to. So I think I would.
Yeah, fair.
I think by my own admission, I would go cameo rules.
Okay,
on this one.
Okay, that's fair. By the way, an update on the strike. They started the meeting around 5 p.m. West Coast time. Josh said that they're just discussing the deal. So, I mean, they've been there 2 hours discussing this going. It's interesting that they're meeting on a Sunday.
They should just flip a coin at this point.
No, there's a lot of things at stake here. There's no flipping coins on this. Not at all. But
they should ask Chet to decide it.
Oh, Jesus Christ. That guy's got opinions.
Valid.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ definitely has opinions, but Chet also has opinions. I said Jesus Christ. That's the joke. Sorry, guys. Moving on. We got Brixco Comics. What was he called before? He was like LLC or
it was Brixton and Company LLC, but he decided that was too much of a mouthful, so he rebranded to Brixco Comics. But he is our good friend, Paul Bond.
Yo,
close.
That was really good. We didn't even practice that. That's right, Brixco. We got, what do we have? I did a ton of organizing and sorting boxes this weekend. I ended up taking 12 long boxes and 7 short boxes of dollar books and about 5 long boxes of graphic novels over to Phantasm Cosmics. After selling Greg all those comics, I ended up grabbing these awesome pulp comics he had for sale. Definitely a great shop and fantastic owner with tons of graphic novels and a variety of books. He loves his pulp, huh?
Yeah, he actually brought those to my house today for me to look at because he was out and about and swung by. And I also coincidentally sold a bunch of graphic novels to Phantasm Comics earlier this week because they pay better than anyone. So if you ever want to get rid of them and you're in the Philadelphia area, stop by Phantasm Comics, located in scenic and historic New Hope, Pennsylvania.
Well done. Actually, you may have a better VO voice than myself. That's really good. But let's go with your second fresh scout of the week. What do you got?
I'm going to go a little bit PG-13 here.
Woo, we love that.
This is not something I really collect, but it does have some connection to my childhood. And it's always the book that you're hoping to find when you're looking through Tomb Raider books. If you're into Lara Croft Tomb Raider, this is kind of the chase from that run. Adam Hughes cover, issue 45. Yeah, issue 45. Just, Laura Croft and Adam Hughes, you know what the cover is going to end up looking like at some point.
Why do people like that book? I can't understand why.
They like it because orange is a really pleasant color that brings
Yes.
out positivity, and
there's a sun there too.
there's a
It's a sunny
sun.
day.
A lot of
And
beach collectors.
She's
beach
she's
fans.
holding the gun downward, which means she doesn't want to use it. It's a sign of peace, and the palm tree calming. That's why people love this cover. And Adam Hughes did a really good job at making this very calming, soothing cover for us. Yeah,
I see that now.
Yes.
Okay.
Pope says, "Cuz dead ass." He might be right.
Pope, you are a gem in this community, and I never give you enough credit because I'm always usually criticizing you in some way. Anyways, I do have an announcement here that Tishu did not clarify if his, it's rare that we sometimes don't have time to follow up on things, but he tagged us on this, and I was like, "Is this a fresh from the comic shop? You got to let us know." You can't count on us for this, by the way, but sometimes we'll make it work. So here is a fresh from the comic shop that is not full screen. It'll be from my phone right here. He says, "Happy to add this retro classic to my PC this past week. It's no game." So it's a play on words right here, everybody. Or
very cool.
Oh,
acronyms.
Shout out to Dan De La Torre in the chat.
Yep.
Yeah,
Shout
Defenders
for real. But as you can see, it's not. It's for my PC. He could be me. He can mean the game. He can mean the comic book. I mean, that's fun. Well done, Tishu. Well done. Please use the hashtag FFTCS so we know. By the way, Dan is all about it too. All about it.
Of course. Yep.
Okay, moving on. We have good friend of the show. This is how he does it. Actually, you guys have seen this already tonight, but we'll show it again. Howdy, Comic Fam. Earlier this week, I took a day off from work to get things done around the house and run some errands. One of those errands was to go spend some time flipping through comics at Entertainment, LOL. That means laugh out loud, which is essentially the new version of Hastings. After about 30 minutes of digging, I came across something unique for Elijah's PC. Not only did I find a copy of Star Wars 49 for $2.99, but I found an Italian copy of the same issue for $3.99. For those that didn't see that, that was part of Props or Flops. I have never come across a comic in the wild that was from overseas before. This particular issue, published by Panini Comics, is a 2-for-1 because it also had a copy of Star Wars Poe Dameron issue 26 inside too. And as an added cherry on top, the cover art is done by my top 5 favorite artists, Salvador LaRocca. Hope everyone is doing well this weekend. Much love, Comic Fam. You can notice that their colors are a little bit different too. The back book, which I believe is the U.S. print, is blue, and the front book here is not. So that's an
slightly different colorization.
Yeah, I like that. That's very, very interesting. So good job, Justin. Good job indeed. Joe, we did your second fresh get, did we? Or did we not?
We did my second, yes.
Oh, well, here's my second then.
Go for it.
Book. It's a little book here. Just a classic cover. Marvel Superheroes presents number 20. It's a smaller book. You may have seen this before.
Wow.
Classic Doctor Doom cover.
That looks so sharp.
Doesn't it? It looks great.
Wow.
I think it's,
such a great cover.
It really is. It's outstanding. So yeah,
I like to lump that one in with like the Iron Man one and the Submariner one.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Yeah, just the character front and center, focused.
Yeah, but you can. I mean, it's not. It's in. I think it's in great condition, but obviously not.
And that's the first solo Doom.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, that's a big book.
Oh, it's his origin too. I think, right?
I think so. Yeah, I think
it's certainly first name in the title.
Yeah.
Oh, good point. Right. Yeah, good point. So yeah, that's my second fresh get of the week. I think I'm doing okay, Joe.
Well,
I've held this resentment of you inside for a very long time, and now I'm finally able to see myself in front of everybody.
Yeah, listen, you picked up a sick collection.
I know it was.
It was so sick that you FaceTimed me twice
recently. Yeah,
What's
Joe,
that?
your recent collection. It's hard to compete with your fresh gets from that one. So
it's a good one. It's a good one.
Yeah. Yo, every week, because as Josh says, like
I'm still every week I price, a long box or two from that collection, put it up in claim sales, and I'm just gonna be going through that for the next year.
That's fun
Amazing.
though.
Yeah.
That is fun. Yo, this is huge right now. Dan De La Torre gave me props, so to speak. Yes. Thank you.
Truth.
Dan, you'll be very happy with what you see next from me. Moving on. We have Popa Chili Town. Why did I just yell? This guy with his $5,000 book he just picked up and got a 9.8 on. I do like what he's done here, though.
Oh.
This is outstanding. A couple of books I've been wanting to grab in high grade for a while at decent price, which gets complicated due to finding copies with the promotional inserts still intact. Without these inserts, you get a green CGC label. Captain Britain #1 and 2 complete with unpunched mask and boomerang. First appearance of Captain Britain in the original UK comics with story by Chris Claremont and art by Herb Trimpe. These books also feature backup reprints of Kirby's Fantastic Four and Steranko Shield, which look great in the larger page size. Now just sit back and wait for the announcement that Henry Cavill is playing Captain Britain, which I hope 1,000%, I don't think that's a real thing, 1,000%. Joe, can you verify? That he gets so he becomes way too busy to ruin James Bond. I would like to see him in that role as well, but that's really, really well done.
God, I hope they do not have him as James Bond. That would.
I don't want to see him as James Bond. No, definitely not.
Yeah.
Definitely not. Who do we have next? Why don't we go to Swags with his third and final fresh get of the week?
All right, this one is an interesting one, maybe a little plug, because I think later this week I'm going to do a video about this genre. But I got this one specifically to talk about this genre. This one is House of Mystery 174.
Yes.
This is the first issue when House of Mystery becomes kind of this bronze horror thing. And a lot of people talking right now about DC bronze horror and a lot of conversations around that. Is it the hot new thing? And while I think that there's some cool stuff in it and some interesting things to talk about, I also want to kind of address it as like is this really like the next big thing? And so I'm going to do a video about that. But I saw this book and this is, I mean, very, very cool covers. This is, really cool chamber door and stuff like that. Very EC looking, but yeah, cool book. And I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you guys fans of these DC bronze horror stuff? Do you guys have opinions on this genre of comic?
I'm going to speak before Joe because I'm not into that genre at all. I respect it, but I don't collect it. Now, Joe?
I'm huge on Bronze Age horror because, as far back as like, when I was a kid, I was really into the Universal monsters.
Yeah.
And, there is no Silver Age horror because of the comics code.
Right.
You literally could not have werewolves or vampires in comics until 1972.
Yeah.
So that's why you don't see any of those characters between, you only see them in magazines and stuff like that between 54 and 72.
Yeah.
So a lot of that stuff was more affordable. So when I, as I got more into collecting comics and looking for stuff, older stuff like that, as a horror lover, bronze horror is the first stuff that you really get into that's out there. If you end up at the golden age stuff like I am now and highly collect, you get that far. But bronze horror, a lot of it's still very affordable. But as someone who sells comics a lot as well, I have people asking for Bronze Age horror all the time. DC, Marvel, all of it.
Yeah. That's why I want to address it as like you feel it bubbling.
Mm-hmm.
And I think of course there's going to be a time when everyone goes crazy about it, but I wouldn't want to be holding the hot potato at the end of it. That's what I would sort of address with it. I think you got to be a little careful with it.
Sure. Yeah. It's Bronze Age. It's not super scarce. Condition is a factor. You don't want the low grade stuff if you're looking for the investment value stuff. But we already got Moon Knight, who not really a horror character per se, didn't really evolve into a horror character, but came from a horror book.
Yeah.
We got the one shot that we got last year with Man Thing Werewolf by Night, which was extremely awesome.
Yeah.
And
Right.
everyone seemed to love that. I don't
Yeah.
know a single person that did
That
not
stuff-
like that piece of content.
Yeah, that stuff will be great. That stuff for sure. Dracula, like you had your Werewolf and Dracula book and all of that, and those things. I'm interested in these ones that are like the House of Secrets and House of Mysteries that are not the superhero ones that people seem to be.
I will say, as far as those, there are a lot of decent keys, prototypes of characters, and some of the early work by Bernie Wrightson and Neil Adams. Those are things to look at. But yeah, I mean, don't be spending big bucks on random issues. Like you said, you don't want to be stuck with the hot potato.
That's a great phrase too.
Yeah.
I just want to bring this up again too. To be fair, werewolves have always avoided it. Mike is a gem. Like, honestly,
True.
That is good.
really good, really well done. I also want to point that I don't have a Porsche. I don't know why Don keeps saying that I do. But I mean, Las Vegas and Tijuana are not close either. Like on the same day. I don't know if you could do that in the same day.
Absolutely.
Las Vegas and Tijuana?
Yeah, I mean, it's like 8 hours at least, 10 hours.
I'm not sure about
Hold
that.
on, I got a telephone here with a computer chip in it
while
that
you do
allows me
that-
to contact distances.
While you do that, we're going to get on to the next submission
you go, I'll look
here,
it up.
which is Nori Jordan. I have been Thunderbolts heavy the past few weeks, so I'm going back to my roots and showing some nice Daredevil books. I was happy to get my Daredevil number 9, CGC 9.8, first appearance of Echo back in my collection just in time for the upcoming Disney Plus show. Well, it's definitely early still, but it's going to happen. Echo is a great character and one of Daredevil's better love interests. I also picked up some number 1 copies of the new Daredevil series, which has a great bullseye cover. Hopefully, with a new creative team, the series will not disappoint. Take care, everyone. I know I'm sounding like a.
So I was a little bit off. I said it was probably 8 to 10 hours. It's actually only 6 hours.
I don't believe you.
I Google.com'd it with my Google machine.
6 hours from Vegas. Does that sound right, Mickey?
Yeah,
From Vegas to where?
It's
To
Tijuana.
Tijuana.
Mexico. It's right across the border from California.
Yeah, Tijuana. Well, to San Diego. Yeah, I think you could get there in 6 hours. Off the top of my head.
This guy would know. He's from the general area.
Yeah, I'm in SoCal.
Listen, you're getting nasty right now, Joe.
Listen.
I don't want
I'm
to
getting cranky. We're after 10 o'clock, so I'm getting cranky.
Yeah, you're right. We got to push this thing along. Give us your second fresh get of the week. That'll make you happy.
No, this is
Or
my third fresh get of the
Sorry.
week. No, this is a cool one, and it's gonna take a little bit of a build up to get into it. This is New Mutants, Volume 3, number 1. There is nothing special about this book. In fact, this is a dollar bin book all day. I could have bought this online. I've been on the hunt for this book for a while, but it's a dollar bin book. So I really wanted to find it either in a collection or find it in a dollar bin somewhere. I didn't want to pay more than that. And I found it in a collection. And the reason that I wanted to find this is this last splash page with Legion. Love that character. One of my favorites. Now, you may remember if you follow me on Instagram or YouTube that I bought the original artwork for this page just a few weeks ago. So I'm very stoked to finally own the book. I made a trade for this a couple months ago, and I didn't actually make the exchange until about 2 or 3 weeks ago. So during the last couple months, I've been on the hunt for this book and finally got it in a collection. So now I can frame this up, and I like to frame the book next to the actual page. So now I got it all right here.
Who did the art?
That is Diogenes Neves. He's a European artist, and it has Cam Smith, I think, inks. Does it say on here? I think it's Cam Smith. Yeah, inks by Cam Smith.
It's a cool splash page.
Right there, that would be
Very
a unique
cool.
submission right there. Like that is a very, very cool submission. We would consider that unique for sure. All right, moving on. We got Josh's Comics. Oh, what are you laughing at?
Paul was, like I said, he was over my house, and as he was leaving, my wife got a popsicle out of the fridge, and I got some Gatorade because I felt like I was dehydrated, and I took the popsicle from her and I dipped it in my Gatorade. And it was delicious.
Yeah, it's not bad actually. It's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
That's a good summer
Yeah.
thing. All right, Josh's comics. We got some Perez goodness right here. Perez's best work and one of the best covers in comic history. I was glad I was able to pick this up, this new mint copy up from my local comic shop for a great deal. Definitely have to play this definitely have to have this as my fresh from the comic shop for this week. I do believe he's ineligible because he has won before, but it's still a great pickup and a great showing with the cosmic, with the universe in the background. That's fantastic. All right, one more here, and then I'm going to show my fresh gets. We got Comic Toby in the house. What do you got, Comic Toby? Play out what you need. I just got fresh from the comic shops. I got Marvel, Upper Deck, Uncanny Spider-Man, and Captain America. I got your hookup. Sounds like he's trying to sell it to us. I don't know. Maybe we have some buyers in the audience. Let us know. But those are some good pickups right there. Absolutely some good pickups. All right. Mickey, you have some decisions to make. What we'd like to ask of you is to pick 3 that stuck out for you. We'll show those off. And then you're going to have to pick one from there that moves on to the first October semifinals.
Okay. I can do that.
Now, while you do that, I'm going to, can I show my,
Oh, please. Let's see it.
Oh, it's a good one.
It's a good one. It's
You've been building this up. This is going to be huge.
It's a letdown. It's basically,
One might say it's cosmic.
yeah. I picked this up at my comic shop because it was free. It's called DC Connect.
To throw that away.
Wow.
Flashpoint and Beyond. And it's got the movie that's playing here right now, actually. It's got that on the back. I got it for free. Just kidding. All right. What I did get, though, is a character y'all may have heard of. 2 characters that y'all may have heard of. I have Dan De La Torre. I hope you're still here. Fantastic Four, number 48.
Ooh. Wow.
You know, it's got some. It's not restored or anything. There's some tape on the top right there. Not in the best condition, but I'm still really happy to have this book right here.
Yeah, that's great.
Yes. Oh, but I also got this one too.
Whoa.
Fantastic 449. So I just wanted to. It's not the trilogy, but you know, it does the trick. Those are 2 large books.
I might have a 50 up for grabs.
What's that?
I said I might have a 50 up for grabs right now.
I could jump high. Does that mean if I can grab it, I get it?
No.
Okay. That's fair. Anyway, so sorry if that was anticlimactic, everybody. Anyways, we need to end this segment right now. We need to pick a semifinalist for Fresh from the Comic Shop. The first semifinalist in October. So, Alex, you have a big responsibility. You are an alumnus. You know how this works. You weren't kicked off at all today. Let's see how you do it.
All right. Well, look, all great books that we saw today, but I have my own biases and I have my own preferences. You know, it's very subjective. I have to pick 3. So I'll start with, when we got it started, we had the Cable #1 and a CGC 9A. I got to shout out that book. I realized that it was a big, heavily printed book from back in the day.
Nope,
and stuff like that.
My bad. Right here.
But,
I'm
talk
sorry.
about what these books mean to you. That was the book, man. When I was a young kid going in a comic store for the time, Cable was huge at that time. Yeah. And this was, he got his own series and this was that book. I remember this was a big deal. So I remember having a few copies of this. So seeing this setup makes me smile. So that's one of my picks. I think I have to also talk about the Marvel Feature 1, which was, on Jeff's phone. The first Defenders.
Yeah.
Yes. Let me pick that up. Keep talking.
Dan showed his love for that. I am somebody who does like team books and I love me some Defenders. So I like the first appearance of the team here. This is a book that I personally would collect. But I think the third book I have to talk about, and it's going to be my choice as the winner. Ooh. And again, I'm a little bit biased because my comic Sanity is about occulty stuff and things like that. And it's a throwback to the 30s and all those types of books coming out. And so I got to choose the Weird Tales pulps. and those kind of horror covers that we saw. I really like those ones.
So Bricksco Comics action going on right here.
Yeah.
Moving on to the semifinals.
I do like those painted covers with the skulls and the creepy things on them. And I know they're not quite, well, you know, pulps and comics, they're adjacent, but pulps are interesting. You know, they're getting kind of, getting kind of hot out there.
Well done. Ready, Joe? Ready? Well done.
Bond. Paul Bond.
Got it. Well done. You are moving on to the semifinals. The first semifinals in October. That is right, because we are picking a winner for September on this Wednesday. Bricksco, you are you reign supreme today or tonight. Fried. So we have to end the show right now. But listen, Mickey, we are very happy about, like, it's a success. You know why it's a success? Because you got it out there. You got it out into the world. As an artist, you understand that. Anything you work on and you get it out there that people have access to and can see it, that's successful, because most artists want their art to be shared, have people interpret it, have people kind of bring their own points and views and things that you probably don't think about when they talk to you about the story. So again, we congratulate you on this book, and we cannot tell y'all enough. Please pick this book up. SwaggleAssComics.com. The link is down below. Sanity, Rise of the Occult. It is a gorgeous looking book as well as a good read. So please, please, please pick it up. And thank you so much for joining us tonight. We have to stay in touch. We have to do more stuff together, because you are an amazing member of the community, and we want to support you and help you out in any way, and kind of cool to hang out with.
Yeah. Well, no, thank you so much for having me on the show and for supporting the book and getting the word out there. I really do appreciate it. And you know me, I've always enjoyed your guys' show. I think Comic Book Canon is in the top 1 shows out there. I always have been a huge fan. So, you know, it's always a privilege and a pleasure to be on the show. So thank you for inviting me back.
100%.
Hopefully I can be on again. Yeah.
Yes, and it won't be, hopefully we won't have it as long as the hiatus you were on as a guest co-host and being an alumnus. This is probably like your 4th or 5th one. And we have some breaking news here, guys.
Uh-oh.
Boom.
Wow. Everybody run your phones once the show is over to check out the details on this, but that's huge.
Massive.
That is huge for so many reasons. Mickey, you are in the industry out there. You know people. First, yourself, you're probably a bit in limbo maybe, but there are a ton of people I'm sure you're friends with or acquainted with that are dealing with this, and they have no say in the matter, and they're not winning either way on this. So this is really great. This is really, really great. Josh, you are fantastic. What would we call Josh now? I guess he's kind of a correspondent.
He's almost a correspondent. Yeah.
Now that way, is that just for WGA or is that SAG too?
Both sides agreed to the terms. I don't know if all the unions
it's just the Writers Guild.
Yeah.
Okay. Either way,
this is the Writers Guild right now.
This is a step in the right direction. I guess you can't have all the unions represented by one entity.
No, yeah, it's probably just for WGA. So yeah,
but it probably set some sort of boilerplate up that others can follow, maybe.
Yeah, probably. Or you know, it's. I mean, now they can advance their talks with the actors union. So I assume that helps.
It's a big step. Either way, it's a big step. All right. So Josh, thank you for breaking that news for us again to 21 million people watching right now. Joseph, do you have any final thoughts or any niceties to say to Mickey?
Yeah. Thanks for coming on, man. It like I said, you know, when I reached out, I thought it would be a great opportunity for you to kind of talk about your book a little bit and, you know, let some more people know about it. I love your content. It's great. In fact, I would love to have you on at the end of the year for something special, which we'll talk about later. But yeah, I appreciate your time and appreciate everyone's time in the chat. Those of you who watched live, commented, liked, whatever, as well as those who are watching on the replay, because that is important as well.
Millions of people.
Millions.
Again, thank you all for joining us each and every week. We do not have a show this week, October 1st, but we will have 4 straight weeks of the canon, returning on October 8th. We'll make notification of that on the Instagrams. As you all know, time is our most precious commodity. We appreciate it so much that you spend your time with us. Until next time, you know what we say. Let me just get set up so I don't get a awkward pause here. Be good to yourself and be good to others. Peace.